I'm, of course, Simon, bringing you guys another little chat slash discussion that I hope we can kind of work on together as I walk down my predictions for adventures in the Forgotten Realms. In particular, what I think some famous and iconic monsters of Dungeons and Dragons they could bring over to Magic the Gathering. Mimics. Alright guys, mimics are a very classic Dungeons and Dragons character. They're a very classic creature and monster that one can find through numerous different campaigns, usually in dungeons of some kind, while the adventurers are down there looking for precious, precious loot to pillage and use in their adventure. I can't name a single person who plays Dungeons and Dragons who have not been scarred by a mimic at some point in their lifetime, and it always gives them a little bit of pause before they open up that next ornate chest. So mimics, as you would imagine, are predators that can take the form of different objects. The most traditional form is a treasure chest that goads willing adventurers to open it up to see what treasure lies inside before it wraps its sticky tongue all around their body and chomps down clothes on them, devouring them as it would. So mimics are, of course, a staple in Dungeons & Dragons and are one of the most famous creatures that you can find in the game. Really, really, really is. Now, the mimic can take the form of a chest, but it can also take the form of doors and other objects that are typically used by adventurers throughout a dungeon. So, believe me, doors, handles, chandeliers, chests, whatever. Now, when I'm thinking about mimics in Magic the Gathering for adventures in the Forgotten Realms, the best comparison I can make, or the best way I can visualize them hitting a card, is to make maybe a sorcery of some kind. Something that generates treasure tokens. Now, treasures have been in Magic the Gathering for a while now, and they're being used really frequently. Almost every set that's come out has something to do with treasures, because treasures, they're a great mechanic to kind of speed up and ramp up the game a little bit, sacrificing them for mana and whatnot. So now that we actually have actual treasure chest tokens, like treasure tokens, not treasure chests, but as we have treasure tokens in the game, I'm thinking maybe the Mimic isn't a creature card in and of itself. Maybe the Mimic is a sorcery card, or maybe something of that effect. It doesn't have to be called Mimic, It could be disguised treasure. Summons 3 treasure tokens, 3 artifact treasure tokens. One of them can have a flip side. Maybe it's put down randomly. And when the actual card with a Mimic flip side is destroyed or sacrificed, you get to summon a artifact creature token named Mimic with whatever power and toughness they deem worthy. I was thinking about adding a little bit of more flavor to the card rather than just summoning an artifact creature that looks like a treasure chest named Mimic. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we can disguise the treasure token as being a Mimic, and maybe you as a player who plays the card, you don't even know which one could be the Mimic, and your opponent won't know which one's the Mimic, so they don't know exactly when a Mimic creature token is going to hit the battlefield. That's kind of what I was thinking. It adds a little bit more flavor than just having a simple card printed with Mimic on it, but hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, how you would implement a Mimic creature in Magic the Gathering for Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Maybe you play a card that gives the opponent something, and that something is a Mimic, and when they try to interact with that card, either attacking, blocking, or sacrificing it, or whatever, what have you, maybe it turns into a Mimic on your side. But at the same time, if you give them something, even if it's like face down or morphed or transformed or whatever mechanic they want to move with this, they're going to know it's a Mimic. The D&D set has not revealed any trap cards yet, but DKMTG, I'm sure they will have those, because that's a mechanic that also comes directly from Dungeons & Dragons almost, so who knows, maybe.